Hey everyone, welcome to Artist Decoded episode number 53. This is your host Yoshino, and in this episode I get the opportunity to talk to master Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioner Eddie Bravo with my guest host for this episode and a person that's a really good friend of mine. Her name is Hannah Vandermolen. She's also a painter too, so if you want to go check out her work, just look up her name, Hannah Vandermolen. And if you're unfamiliar with Eddie Bravo, he's a true artist and innovator within the sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I really want to bring him onto the program because Eddie's one of those artists within the practice of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu that really innovated and discovered new ground and new territory within the sport. And he took the traditional practices of the sport and reinvented it with his own techniques and discovered untapped grounds within it. And to give you an example, we talked about his victory over Royler Gracie back in 2003 at Abu Dhabi or ADCC World Championships. And if you're unfamiliar with the sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, you have to understand that this tournament in particular is considered to be kind of like the Olympics of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. During this time, Royler Gracie was considered to be one of the best in the world, if not one of the most highly regarded and highly decorated athletes within the sport. And he also comes from the Gracie family, who has a huge influence within the community and had a huge legacy to uphold within Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So basically, Eddie was a huge underdog for this fight. He ended up winning by beating Royler by submission. And I think within each generation of a sport or within an art form, there's a couple people, if not one or two people within a generation that really define that generation. And Eddie Bravo is definitely one of those, especially within, the early 2000s when he came up with the rubber guard and the twister, which, are a couple techniques that he expanded upon, throughout the years, but they really become staples within his practice. And I look at Eddie to be, kind of like how within filmmakers, there's those certain auteurs, Quentin Tarantino, or there's like Stanley Kubrick. And, Eddie Bravo is that, but within Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and he's definitely a well-regarded martial artist. So it was really great to have Eddie on the show, and it was great to have Hannah there too. Hannah's, a really good friend of mine. I've had her on the podcast a couple of times, and we had a really fun conversation. I learned a lot. We talked about, how we talked a lot about gratitude actually, and being grateful for things. And I know this particular subject has come up a lot on the podcast, but it really was strongly embedded within this episode about, being appreciative of what you have. And, I think Eddie said something about if you appreciate what you already have, you don't need anything else. And that really stood out to me because a lot of us are very highly ambitious people and we want to do a lot of things with our life. But to be truly grateful for what you have is a gift within itself. I hope you like this episode. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, please go to www.artistdecoded.com, and there's a donate link which will take you to our PayPal. Or feel free to go to our iTunes and leave a 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate that. That helps us build awareness for the podcast and helps us get the message out to the people. So please do that. We really appreciate it. If you would like to also reach out to me, you can at info@artistdecoded.com. I answer all the emails personally, so feel free to drop me a line, and I will be sure to get to your email. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. This is episode number 53 with Eddie Bravo, interviewed by Hannah Vandermolen and me, Yoshino, for Artist Decoded. I guess tell me about your story a little bit. Let's start off with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu just because, that's a topic that I can talk about.
Well, I've been making music my whole life, and that was the plan. All through my teens, I was in bands writing music, and then when I was 21, I decided to make the big move to Hollywood to break into the music business the right way. You got to move. Started a band out here in my 20s. Then I started, I was DJing, doing various jobs, but one job I did the most was I DJ'd at strip clubs until I got that record deal. So I'm in Hollywood trying to get that record deal. So sure I was going to get it. so sure that I wanted to make sure I looked good on stage. So
Yeah.
I started doing martial arts just to stay in shape, just so I wouldn't be a fat slob on stage.
That's interesting.
So-
how old were you?
In my early 20s, 22, 23. And then at 24, I saw the UFC 2. And I was doing karate at the time. And then since obviously Hoist kicked everyone's ass, I wanted to drop karate and start doing jiu-jitsu. So I started doing jiu-jitsu. I said, okay, cool. I'll do jiu-jitsu as a way to stay in shape so I don't become a fat rock star. So that was the whole plan.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So all through my 20s, I started doing jiu-jitsu. I was a white belt. Then I was a blue belt when I was 26.
Yeah.
And then I was a purple belt when I was 28. But still, that's just like I was doing jiu-jitsu, obsessed with it, loved it. But it was just a hobby. You know, everybody that knew me as a music producer, musician.
Yeah.
You know, my family, all my friends, they never looked at me like, oh my God, he's such a great martial artist. They never looked,
so
all they had to say
interesting,
to me
man.
was like, how's the music? What's the name of your band now? You have any record interest? That's what people that really knew me would say to me. You know what I mean? There was jiu-jitsu or martial arts or kicking ass in any way was never brought up. And I'm in my 20s, 28, 29.
That's crazy that you started, I mean, for like fighting, that would be considered like later on, you know, because you said like,
Totally.
you're like 24,
I started
right?
when I was 24.
Yeah, because like, I mean, people in Thailand, you know, like kids in Thailand will start doing Muay Thai at like 7 years old.
Well, that's only
You
because they don't have preschools there. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, you're going to learn how to fight.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. Can you fight?
Yeah, you must fight.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to fight for your toys. We have 3 toys, and you got to fight for them.
Yeah.
And then they just
Totally
become really
fight
good
for 'em.
fighters.
Yeah. That's generally how it works, isn't it?
Yeah. So I didn't having jiu-jitsu schools or teaching jiu-jitsu wasn't even a thought. It was always music.
Yeah.
And you know, and then when I opened my first school at 33. So up until then, that wasn't even a thought of opening up a school.
Yeah.
In like LA. Like, how are you going to open up a jiu-jitsu school in LA? I'm Mexican, and there's all these Brazilian champions and legends everywhere in LA. There was, even if I wanted to, even for a second, like there's no way it would ever happen.
Yeah.
You know, why would someone, at that point, you just wanted to go to a Brazilian. It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If your coach is Brazilian.
But how did you match up? Because, I mean, you beat, Royler. Was it Royler in that tournament?
Yeah, that was when I was 33. Yeah, that was when I was 33.
That was when you were a black belt
I was
by
a
that
brown
time.
belt at the time.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was just a musician, man. I was just a music producer doing jiu-jitsu, and I got caught up in a couple tournaments at some high school gyms. One thing led to another. I won the trials to ADCC, which is the World Championships of Jiu-Jitsu. And I won the trials, and I went and got I won a free plane ticket to Brazil. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to compete with these guys. You know, I'm just
crazy.
Just a musician who is doing jiu-jitsu just as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I snuck in and won the trials. Now I'm fighting in the World Championships. I didn't think I'm a brown belt and all the guys in it are black belt world champions. Like, I'm not I didn't even consider myself a real athlete. None of my family, none of my friends, none of them ever considered me like some athlete, some guy known for sports or anything.
But I mean, wasn't it apparent, like, when you were at that tournament and you won the trials, that you had some sort of talent at the sport?
I had good ways of deceiving people. I was pretty good at tricks. I was tricking my way through stuff.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
I didn't
because
have physical attributes. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was never fast, explosive, powerful. No one ever said, "Fuck, that dude is fucking strong." No one ever said that, or fast, or explosive.
But I mean, jiu-jitsu is about technique. I mean, you have your own school of thought with jiu-jitsu, right?
I had to just trick people for a while, and it worked for a while, and it got me into the World Championships. And
But what does that mean? Not a lot of people can be like, I trick people. You know what I mean? Like what do you mean by
I had a
trick
very
people?
unorthodox style that people weren't used to.
Yeah.
That's all it was, and I took advantage of that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Jean Jacques was your coach?
Yes. Jean Jacques Machado was my coach the whole time.
Yeah. So how did you kind of develop this style of your own? I mean, it seemed like it was such a natural approach because, you know, you said yourself you didn't really consider yourself an athlete. It was all about music in the beginning, right?
Well, man, I'm in my, I was so sure my whole life that I would make it in the music business. And I was one of those guys that didn't even want a backup plan. Because, I'd have family members saying, well, you should, okay, you're going to make it in music. Okay. But maybe you should have a backup plan too. That'd be smart.
Yeah.
Cause they went to my gigs, my early gigs when I was 16 and 17. And it was just the worst thrash metal you could imagine.
Wait, so I have a question about that. What bands were you inspired by? Because this is pretty interesting.
Well, when I was a kid, early on, when I was 8, I got obsessed with Kiss. So I was already had the rock vibe, and my stepdad was into he had a lot of classic rock albums. He had like Ted Nugent, Zeppelin,
oh, cool.
Bad Company. He had all the Pretenders, Van Halen. He had fucking everything. But I hated him, so I hated those bands. But I had the rock in me because everybody on my block were poor, but it was just a city of nothing but poor Mexicans. But they were all into rock. All the kids were into metal and rock. And so I grew up in that environment. Nobody was into the only ones who were into like funk were my aunts. My aunts were into funk, so I had a little funk from my aunts, but my friends on the street, there's a bunch of Mexican kids who like rock, Rush, The Police, all that shit. And then when I was 8, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was this NBC made for TV movie starring Kiss. And when you're 8 and it's Friday night and you're watching fucking this band that wears makeup and they got their characters and shit, they look like comic book heroes, and you're 8. And it was funny because I was 8 and that was 1978. And if you know the history of Kiss, 1978 is when they went down. They became too commercialized. Everyone thought they sold out because early Kiss was like 73, 74, 75. That was like, they made it on the underground.
Yeah.
They got no radio airplay. They made it just on their live shows. So they were like an underground cult fucking hit. Then they blew up at 76, 77, just mega monster Kiss ice
super
cream.
commercialized,
super commercial. They got huge, and then by 78,
lunch pails and shit.
They made that movie. They made an NBC 8:00 Friday night,
and that's the thing
time.
that inspired you.
But
you're 8 years old.
The shit that they jumped the shark with. That's the shit that got me. They got me with the worst shit.
Yeah, but
I'm 8 and I saw that movie, and they were already being talked so much shit upon, like on the streets. Kiss was already a joke on the streets. I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And my stepdad, he didn't have any Kiss records because like classic rock dudes didn't give them respect because of all the makeup and all that shit. They thought, oh, look at these clowns doing anything for attention. We're not going to give them respect. No one gave them radio airplay. They got 0 radio airplay because of the makeup. People were like, fuck you, we clowns. So I'll never forget being on this at school in the playground talking about, and that Friday night that movie was going to come on. We all saw the commercials. So the kids were going, you're going to see that Kiss movie? Like, fuck Kiss. Kiss sucks. I was like, yeah, fuck those clowns. They wear makeup and shit. And the 8-year-old kids were talking shit on Kiss. So that's where they were going down. That was a bad time. That was like Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer when they were after their huge explosion, when they became comical. You know what I mean? There's a time where you're just like, you can't claim you like MC Hammer. You know? You can't claim that. Like, no one's going to say, one of my favorite rappers is, I like Tupac, Ice Cube, Biggie, Vanilla Ice, MC Ren. No one ever says that.
Yeah.
So with Kiss, we were kids going, fuck Kiss. And I didn't even hear them. We hadn't even seen the movie. And I was like, fuck Kiss. We're like, yeah, fuck Kiss. We like the Beatles. Yeah, like kids. I'll
so
never
funny.
forget being so excited for the
Yeah.
movie. Me and my brother were in front of the TV. It's 8:00, Channel 4, NBC. We're so excited. After all the shit we talked,
Yeah.
we're still like, everybody was going to watch it no matter what. And it was one of the worst movies ever. That Mariah Carey movie, Glitter, might be better.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. That was a pretty bad.
No,
I
dude.
haven't even
Kiss
seen
Me,
that, but I've just
Stefano
seen the
is
trailer.
so
The trailer
bad.
looked bad.
Yeah, right. You didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't even see Glitter.
Yeah, but that
put away
movie
my
blew
glitter
me the fuck
memorabilia.
away. That movie blew this 8-year-old little boy away and changed my life. And all I remember was rock and roll all night and party out. That song, rock and roll all night. I got to get that motherfucking song. So I told my aunts, we went to Gemco, which is a department store. It's like Walmart of the old school Walmart. Walmart was called Gemco.
Yeah.
And we were like, and when I look back at that, I was like on a mission to go get that song. That's all. It was like, that's all that mattered. And I remember just like dragging my aunts and like, we're going like Cartman. Remember Cartman would go and drag his mom to the toy store
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like some new game would come out. And he was like, there was no way you were going to there was no way you were going to stop me from getting rock and roll all night. Went to the records, boom, pulled out Kiss Alive, which was a live record, but an 8-year-old kid doesn't know what live records are. And my aunt goes, I think this is a concert record. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? That says rock and roll all night. We're getting this one. She goes, okay. I remember putting the needle on the record.
Yeah.
And then it starts off with the audience swelling. I'm like, oh shit, it's like a football game, cause you hear the crowd.
Yeah.
And I was just completely blown away. And that was in the beginning. Then I got into Judas Priest and Ozzy and Van Halen and Motley Crue. And then really quick got into speed metal, Slayer, Metallica,
Cool.
the German thrash scene, like Creator, Sodom, Destruction, all that classic fucking 80s thrash, 84, 85, 86, 87. Like there was this big explosion of Poison and Motley Crue and like Guns N' Roses. But at the exact same time, there was a giant explosion of underground speed metal.
Yeah.
So the bigger commercial.
So were you
metal
in the
guy-
speed metal band
Yes,
in
I
the
was
beginning?
I was into, the Iron Maiden, Motley Crue and all that stuff. But as soon as 84 hit, I got into a Canadian speed metal band called Exciter. And they blew me the fuck away. Hated them at first, but then I thought, like, what is this, punk? This is garbage. It's like, what is this? It's too fast. I couldn't wait to return it, take it back and get my money back at Music Plus Records. I couldn't wait. That next day I was going to get on my bike and turn that piece of shit back, punk or whatever fast stuff is.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it one more time the next day and fell in love with it. And then from that point on, it was Slayer, Metallica, and I started playing in speed metal bands. I played drums all through my teens in speed metal band. It was all those just crazy noise. So I'm dragging my family to these shows, and they're going,
What do they think?
This guy's never going to make it in music. It was like, there's no way they had any faith in me at all.
Yeah.
So, but here I am, just Mr. For sure. I'm going to make it in music.
And then jiu-jitsu comes up out of nowhere.
Yeah. But then the thing was, it's like, I'm in my later 20s, still haven't made it in music. It's getting embarrassing now. And I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm like a purple belt. And I thought, shit, maybe if the music doesn't happen, if I lose my job DJing at a strip club, because people could lose there's no security, there's job security. What am I going to do? I actually have to think about a backup plan now. So I thought my backup plan would be fighting MMA. So immediately I thought, okay, I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. At the time, at the UFC, the jiu-jitsu looked like shit. I'm a purple belt thinking, man, these guys in the UFC's jiu-jitsu looks like shit. I might be able to do jiu-jitsu probably better than a lot of these guys. So I thought my backup plan, fuck it, is going to be MMA. But I don't want to do it. That's if my back is against the wall and I have nothing else. I'm not going to go back to regular life now.
Yeah.
And,
How old were you? 30?
27, 28.
Okay.
And then I decided, okay, if I end up doing MMA, I'm going to be so far behind with striking and wrestling that I'm going to have to devote all my time to that. And, I don't want to have to spend time revamping my jiu-jitsu. So I wanted to make my jiu-jitsu as MMA ready as possible. So that was the quest. I want to make it my jiu-jitsu as MMA ready as possible. And if I ever have to do it, I'm going to have to just focus on striking and wrestling and have hopefully my jiu-jitsu's ready. So that's really where the style all came from.
Interesting. How's your striking now?
Are you kidding? Shit. I'm insulted. Have you seen the size of my face?
Well, I'm sure you're so.
Have you seen the size of my face? You stand there. Ask me the question again. What was the question again?
I'm sure you're
What
good.
was the question?
The striking.
Okay.
I said, how's.
Are there still questions?
I think you should just
Look
hit
at
him
these
in the
things.
face and show him.
No, I don't. My striking.
You don't practice striking at all anymore?
No,
No.
I should, but I don't.
Yeah. But at 10th Planet, do you have a striking program as well?
No.
Oh, it's strictly
Well, we do
jiu-jitsu?
have combat jiu-jitsu classes, which is jiu-jitsu with striking, but nothing standing like kickboxing or karate or anything like that. Just hitting on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, ground and pound stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. But I still want to know, I guess, about that experience, going into Abu Dhabi and then
Well, what happened was
beating Royler.
I was DJing at a strip club for a long ass time, and hanging out with Joe Rogan. He's really good friends of mine. He a friend of mine. He's a comedian, and I started dabbling in comedy, and me and Joe started writing a bunch of stuff, and then the Man Show, which was originally a Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla show.
Yeah, I
they
remember
left after like 5 seasons, and Comedy Central wanted to keep it going. So they got Joe to be the new host with Doug Stanhope. And Joe brought me along as a writer. So I started writing on the Man Show. I quit my strip club job
Yeah.
and to write for the Man Show. And to me, that was just like, okay, we're going to get the music in that way. Me and Joe, we're going to be a writing team in the Man Show.
Yeah.
And we're going to blow that up. And then
Yeah.
we're going to write movies and then blow the movies up. And then boom, there goes my music right on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. You thought I wasn't going to make it. You thought all the people that doubted me. Yeah. You doubted me. Check this out. Oh, where's your music now?
thrash
Huh? They
metal.
say.
Yeah.
What happened to your
Yeah,
music, bro? Oh, I'm going to get them. But it didn't quite go as planned. It was a nightmare working for Comedy Central. It was just a fucking...
Really?
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Wait, so how long have you been friends with Joe Rogan then for?
Probably 16, 17. I've known him for like maybe 18 years.
Yeah.
I met him in 97. Through jiu-jitsu.
That's
He was
crazy.
always in jiu-jitsu, so that's how we started hanging out.
Yeah, yeah.
He was in jiu-jitsu at the same school I was. And that's where we met. I met him when he was a blue belt and I was a purple belt back like in 97. 97, 98.
That's crazy. Jiu-jitsu was so much different back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Now there's a whole shitload of black belts everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So
Yeah.
back then they were rare.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I'm working on the Man Show. It sucks. And the show's going to get canceled. I'm like, fuck, I just quit.
In season 6?
I was DJing for 10 years, quit that motherfucker and told everyone to suck my dick. And now I'm working on a show that's going to get fucking canceled. It was a nightmare. It was it'll take an hour to explain that. But while I worked on that show, that's when I went to Brazil and fought in Abu Dhabi. I thought, okay, my life sucks, but at least I got this one trip to Brazil for free that I get to compete in. That's when I tapped out Royler Gracie. That's when I came back and walked off the Man Show. I'm like, fuck this show. I'm just going to teach jiu-jitsu. And until my music breaks.
Man,
Still hasn't broken.
That's
But you're still doing
still
it.
hasn't broken.
Yeah.
But he's still over here recording stuff every week, and it's
now,
awesome.
yeah, now more than ever, after all this time, and that was 2003 when I opened up. I actually opened up 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu. It was still a job just until the music broke. It was still that.
That's insane.
Yeah,
I had
I was into it.
no
but
idea.
Still, I was always obsessed with jiu-jitsu. Obsessed.
Yeah.
And I'm still obsessed more than ever now.
Yeah.
But I still do music. That never stopped. That never stopped.
It's kind of interesting how
Turned it
things just come full circle in that way. I mean, because you wanted to do things within music, and then jiu-jitsu kind of took you in that path, and then you're kind of like coming back,
The weird thing is,
in a way.
you hear this from people that I don't know if they study mystics or they claim to be mystics, or like have the ability to channel infinite knowledge or the truth and all that. But you hear that, you always hear like the greatest minds say shit like Buddha or whatever. Even like Bruce Lee will say, master the moment, be in the moment.
Yeah.
So cliche to say that, like be in the moment, and all those classic things. Like
Ram Dass, be here now.
Yeah, what does that really mean? And I've learned what that means just based on my life experiences. Is with music. When people say that, I think they mean and I've had people explain it, crazy people and stuff. It's like you cannot live your life with expectations.
Yeah.
You can't expect anything. When you expect it, that means you're telling the force that you don't have it. And when you tell the force that you don't have it, they're going to keep not giving it to you because they go, oh, because somehow scientifically, I don't know how it works, but
That's
whatever
interesting.
you think you are,
Yeah.
you actually will become if you really believe it. That's when people say fake it till you make it and shit
Interesting.
like that.
Yeah.
And it gets annoying when people fake it when they make it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not encouraging that at all. But what I am encouraging is don't look at it like fake it till you make it. Look at it like you got to really, really be happy with what you got, and you got to be
grateful for what you have, right?
You got to look at your situation like if you switched lives with some refugee that lived in Liberia. Like, what would they think if they just woke up and they had your life? You know how happy they would be? They'd be like, fuck, you're in LA right now and it's fucking a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And
You're talking about gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Being grateful for what you have, even if it's not exactly where you expected it
But
to be.
can you imagine
right?
how grateful a refugee from Guatemala would feel if they just came in and they were right in your skin?
No,
And
exactly.
they go, oh shit, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
And I'm here in this badass house.
Yeah.
They would freak the fuck out.
Then they look
But
in the
you're
mirror.
not freaking
Then
out.
they look in the mirror and they're like, "Oh no, I'm Asian. Oh no, fuck. no, no, why? My life is great." Then they turn to the mirror.
Are you saying that Asians are worse than Guatemalans?
No, I'm just kidding. It's just like the expectation of like waking up in like some alternate universe, and then
That
they're
was
like,
funny
"This
as
is
shit.
amazing."
Man, that's funny as shit. It really is. But in reality,
No, I was just fucking with you. Yeah,
no,
you know.
it's really good. But for me, I always basically, if you expect something, that means you don't have it now, so you ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
It's what people always say, when you least expect it. So isn't that true? When you least expect shit, that's when it fucking happens.
Yeah.
My whole life, I expected to make it in the music business.
Yeah.
I really believed 1,000% that I was going to make it. It was just a matter of fucking time. I believed it. It wasn't like I was trying to blow smoke up my own ass. I really believed it and I expected it. And I go, it's just a matter of time, And that shit didn't happen.
Yeah.
And the jiu-jitsu, I never expected anything from jiu-jitsu ever. I just did it out of pure love, and then boom, it just blows up, and I didn't even expect it, right?
That's insane.
That's for me, find what you really love doing and actually do that. The mistake would be not finding out what you love. Like a lot of people when you ask them, what do you love to do? I don't know, like to shop, or some people don't know what they like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to find something that you get obsessed with. Maybe you haven't found it. Maybe you don't have anything right now that you're obsessed with that you want to do fucking for hours, but you got to keep searching. And when you find that thing that you'll do for hours and you hate the fact that time is flying and you wish you could do it longer and you're like, fuck. And you get happy when you look at the clock and only 5 minutes went by. You're like, cool. Only 5
Is that the
minutes.
way that you view jiu-jitsu?
That's exactly how I view jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's exactly. When I teach class, I'm always looking at the time, hoping it goes by slower and slower, hoping I have more time, you don't do that when you go to a job. You go to a job, you're like, fuck, 2 more hours, shit.
What's the difference between you doing jiu-jitsu as opposed to you teaching jiu-jitsu? I mean, the impact that you could have on other people's lives teaching
it's the
something
same.
that
It's the same. You just want it to. You don't want you want to look at the clock and see that you have more time left. That's the kind of stuff you need to get into. If you're looking at the clock and you're hoping it goes by, that's not your shit. You got to keep going, keep looking. That's not your shit.
Yeah.
Like with music, I could sit in that studio for 13 hours straight and I'm good. I hate it when I'm looking at the clock like, fuck, it's already fucking 2:30. Shit. I wish it was 12:30. You know?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things you need to do. When you find that,
You just get lost in the moment.
When you don't want the time to fly by. When you hate
Well, I think it's interesting too, like when we have something we love and we want to make a profit out of it because we're like, well, this would be the best thing ever if this could be my job, like music. So this thing that you love turns into all these expectations, and that's the mistake we make because it's really always about the process no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And we'd like to think that there will be a financial success in the end because of how much time and effort we've devoted to it, but nobody really ever knows. No. And like the purest, best way you can look at what you love to do is to just go, I don't know, it's scary, but like I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah, no, that's completely true.
I do believe that there will be success in the end if you like what you're saying. It all comes around full circle somehow, but you never know the way you're going to get there.
It's hard not to expect things and have set goals and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, we are all like relatively ambitious people,
you can't
right?
Focus on that though.
Yeah, I know.
You got to focus on being happy with what you got.
No, exactly.
Doing with what you love. So if you are thinking about like all the money that you're going to make and all that stuff, if you are counting all your pennies, it seems like, I don't know, it seems like
you're kind of missing the point, right?
Yeah. You got to not worry about any of that and just find something that you get obsessed with. Cause if you're obsessed with something, it's going to work itself out somehow.
Yeah.
You got to be obsessed with
it. No,
it's
true. Yeah, it's true. And I feel like you feed that energy off to people too if you're just obsessed with something. And if you're trying to look for like some sort of monetary success in something, it changes the conversations that you have with people as well. Yeah. So if you're just doing something out of pure passion and love, people actually feel that, you know, as opposed to like, you know,
you could separate them, just get a regular job and that's bullshit. And then you just do what you love and hopefully one day
things pan out.
It'll just merge into the same thing. You know, you'll be making your money but you can't think about it.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then it's not really something that you love. Because if you actually really love it anyways, it's not going to matter that you make money on it. You're like, I would be great if I could make money on it, but it doesn't fucking matter. I'm going to keep doing it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So when you find something like that, I think that's the goal. And who cares if you don't make money at it? Fuck it. As long as you love something like that.
Yeah. There's no greater joy than that, right?
That's better than money, that you love something that you wish you could do. You can keep doing all day.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not fucking playing Quake or something, though.
Well,
playing Pokemon Go or something.
What's going on with Pokemon? I hear about it everywhere.
Oh my God, it's so fucking, it's ridiculous.
People are getting hit by cars.
No way.
Yeah.
No, but what is it?
People in New York got hit by
What is
cars.
it, though?
Okay,
what's going on?
So Pokemon Go is this augmented reality app where it's an
augmented
reality. No, that's what it is.
Okay.
It's an augmented reality game where it puts, and I haven't played it, but I've seen people playing it, and you walk down the street, right? And then if you know anything about Pokemon, it's like there's grass type Pokemon, there's water type, there's fire type. So if you go to a lake, there's going to be water type. And if you go to like a park, there's going to be grass type, and you can catch Pokemon. But you have to physically go to these places, and people are getting into accidents because they're like driving their car while they're on the fucking game. And they're like, oh shit, here's a Pokemon gym across the street and I need to get there. Or like, you know, in New York, they're walking across the street and they're just looking down at their phone, not paying attention to the traffic, looking for Pokemon.
Interesting.
It's interesting. It's completely
survival
interesting.
of the fittest. It's just too bad if it takes other people who are more deserving to be alive out in the process.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a specific reason why I do not play that game, because I get super addicted to games just from like being a kid playing MMORPGs and like playing video games and all that shit. So I'm just like, no, I'm not even gonna download it. No. Yeah. It just takes away too much time from like other things, you know?
Yeah, I wish I was into them, but I don't have any time.
Right? It just takes, you have to, I mean.
There's not enough time.
Yeah, as you get older, you just realize like, you just value time more, you know? I've certainly have learned to value my time a lot more. And I mean, doing this podcast, for instance, like, I don't know, I love having these conversations, and, we're talking about doing something that you love, that you can just have the time go by and you just don't really realize it. Like, having these conversations just enriches my life and other people that listen to the podcast life a lot. And I don't know, I love doing it. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah. I mean, it seems like that's your view on jiu-jitsu.
Yep. So but
I think it's interesting that you just fell into that, doing jiu-jitsu to get into shape. And then, but you're kind of like you're definitely an artist within the sport itself. I mean, you're not just any sort of jiu-jitsu practitioner. I mean, look from an outsider's perspective, doing jiu-jitsu, like, I've been studying jiu-jitsu for a while, and you have like all of these different techniques that not anyone else has come up with. I mean, you have like chill dog and mission control and these, you know what I mean? These techniques that you've come up with. So you're essentially like an artist within the sport itself.
I'm the slayer of jiu-jitsu.
You're the slayer of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's how I like to refer to myself as.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it must be weird to like.
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
666, pentagrams, goat's head,
Yeah.
satanic lyrics,
Yeah.
all that shit. That's 10th Planet.
Yeah. The Church of Satan.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, are there any certain philosophies that you are constant, like, or mantras, something that you like embed in your life that you
No,
like
I
to
need
talk
some
about?
mantras though. I hear mantras are good. I want some mantras. I want anything that I'm going to get into yoga pretty soon. It's about that time. I want to get into it.
Yeah.
Tai Chi, all that shit. I want to do it. Capoeira, do some movement.
Yeah.
I think after you hit 40, you gotta start doing all that old man shit.
I mean, you should start
Like
doing
yoga?
that way before that. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I was too busy choking fools out.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
recently had surgery, and I was really impressed. Like 2 weeks after, you seemed like fully recovered. Has it affected
What
your
kind of
movement
surgery?
at all?
I had back surgery.
Oh man. Wait,
Got a titanium disc put in my L5 S1. I'm still not recovered 100%, but I'm walking.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're teaching.
It's been about a month and a half.
Oh, okay.
Teaching. I'm doing all right. Went to Vegas, partied. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Do you think something like that, when you started jiu-jitsu, would have like ended your career, or
I don't know.
back in the day?
That's a good question. Back in the day, they didn't have the technology they do now. Like the surgery I got is the new way they do stuff. They went through, instead of going through the back like they used to, like you had back surgery, they'll cut through the back and do a lot of damage trying to fix stuff up. But now they go through the front, they cut you up and move your guts and your stomach to the side and get to your spine through the front. And it's a lot easier to work on that way, and
Really
better success rate, a quicker recovery time.
interesting.
Crazy.
I was walking a couple of days later.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you and Joe spar often?
he hasn't done jujitsu. He hurt his back like 3 years ago, and he hasn't done jujitsu in that whole time.
Oh, really?
He wants to come back though. He said he's coming back. He's trying to rehab his back, but it's been a while.
Is he a black belt?
Yep.
Oh, okay. You gave him his black belt,
Yep,
right?
I
Oh, that's
sure
awesome. How many years ago was that?
That was 2012.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yep. That was like exactly 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Was that 3? That's 4.
4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4
Time
years
flies,
ago.
man. Any advice that you like to give people in particular? Any life advice or anything that you can think of?
The stuff we were talking about before, though, that's the most important thing, is to appreciate what you got. It's so hard to do, man. That's the hardest thing to do. But if you could really appreciate what you got, then you don't need anything. Then if you don't need anything, you're happy. If you're like, I don't need anything, I'm happy. Isn't that what everybody wants? People, it's hard to do. I mean, you got to remind yourself every day how lucky you are, and And it's like prayers and like mantras. That's what that is, really, because, yoga and other kinds of meditation, they're all designed to get you in that frequency of the universe. Like, you can meditate, you can do yoga, some people do jiu-jitsu. It's all that meditation where you're not thinking, you're not stressing out about anything, you're not worried about this or that. If you could do, like, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you cannot think about your problems.
Yeah.
The only problem you're thinking about is someone's trying to choke you. So
yeah. It's a very present experience.
Forced meditation.
Yeah.
You can't train and think about your life. If you do, you're going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. So you learn to focus, and that's real focus. And that's what meditation is. Like, you focus on that, like one thing, and you're breathing, or like the faucet dropping. And if you could focus on one thing, that means you're not thinking about anything else. And when you're not thinking about anything else, that means you're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about shit, but that one thing. And then when that happens, you somehow vibrate a certain way that puts you in that meditative state. And that's that euphoric thing where you're like, shit, you're not thinking about the past, the present, or the future. You're just thinking about like one thing. And, or you actually are thinking about the present. I messed up there, but.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But so I think that's what, appreciation is too. Like, so if you have like a thing that you could read to yourself or remind yourself every day, you could meditate with just talking to yourself and going through all the reasons why you're lucky and all the reasons why you're way luckier than some refugee living in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I said Middle East.
There's actually an interesting app for that. There's it's like I live my whole life on my phone, but there's this app. It's called Gratitude 365 that I use, and it has like a monthly calendar, and then you can put photos for each day. And so when you expand to the monthly calendar part, then it has all the photos lined up. But you can put like a little quote or like a little, I don't know, like a little paragraph about what inspired you that day or what you're grateful for that day. And then so, when you're having a shitty day or something, you look back on it and you're like, oh, wow, like I have so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And so much stuff to be thankful for that this day is actually not that bad.
And if you could really feel that way, or beyond not that bad, but like, man, I'm like if you could really feel like if you got framed for murder right now, someone just came in here and they threw you in jail, you know how you would actually feel about your life? Like you were a god. Like, fuck, I had it made. Right away, you're in jail. You'd be like, oh my God, my life is so awesome. What a fucking idiot I am. If someone put you in jail right now, you would appreciate your life like that Guatemalan, like that dude from Kazakhstan, like a dude from Liberia. You would actually feel that way if you were in jail. Like, dude, your blood is all over the weapon. You're going fucking down, dude. Right there, you'd be like, my life was amazing. My life was amazing. So the goal is to be able to feel that way without going to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how could you do that? Jail's the easiest way. Jail, that would put you right in that zone where you needed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd be crying and just like, my life was silent. You'd like love your girlfriend so much and everything and all your friends so much. But can you get there without jail? Without the threat of jail?
I think you can. Just constant being conscious and constantly reminding yourself
you do that
of
every day. That's meditation.
Yeah.
You could do.
No, I feel the same way with, like boxing and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. That is a meditation because you're right. You have to be present. If you're sparring with someone, you can't be like, I wonder what I'm going to eat for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. Yep. It's like such a meditative experience.
And when you're done after like a workout, with jiu-jitsu in particular, you like, after you're done, then you think about all that bullshit you got to deal with. Like, oh, you forgot about that shit. You forgot about it for an hour. Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking right. Now I got to deal with some bullshit.
Yeah. It's a good escape, but also a good practice to stay present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then when you have to face the bullshit, you're lighter about it, You're not so burdened by it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like to tell people that and suggest that only because it reminds me to do, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I need more of that.
Well, yeah, at the same time, it's like being a teacher, there's a lot of these self-reflective qualities, you know, when you tell someone something that you believe in and you tell them to instill it within their life, then, you know, at the same time, I mean, you're saying it for a specific reason, right? If you tell someone to be present, then that's what you believe in, and you want them to instill it in their life as well.
Yeah. And it reminds me to do the same thing. 'Cause
Exactly.
You got to constantly, because you can't just say, okay, I'm going to try to appreciate my life and that's it. Appreciating your life means that every day you got to remind yourself. And you know, it isn't like you just do it and then that's it. Okay, I'm done. It's like working out.
Yeah.
You don't just work out one day and then you're done. I worked out. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You got to actually go through your day reminding yourself and in whatever way makes it easiest for you, as long as you do it. Whether you have like some way to organize it into like, okay, at 3:15 we're going to do, or I'm going to, from 3:15 to 3:45, I'm going to go through everything. And you could be super organized about it, or just, for me, I do that when I'm on my way to work. When I go to work, I hit that seizure medication just to make sure I don't have a seizure. And I just remind myself constantly why I should be happy. And it works.
You're
It
exercising
works.
that
And
muscle.
when I'm driving to class, it works because I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to be awesome. There's people there. They want to work hard and want to take their jiu-jitsu on the next level. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, you're impacting other people's lives too.
I look forward to that. And any time I work on music and I made some progress that day and put some good 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of work in, after that, I feel really, really good. Cause, you know, I'm sure it's because I brainwashed myself into thinking that I'm going to make it in the music business or whatever, you know, as a kid. But anytime I do work on music, I feel really fulfilled. I feel like I so didn't waste my time.
Yeah.
I put in some good work. We got some good stuff. We made some good improvements. The songs coming together. Fuck. I feel like I accomplished something.
Well, it's all about self-improvement, isn't it? And constantly trying to strive and challenge yourself. And I mean, I guess that's when you stop growing, is when you stop challenging yourself and trying to do different things and trying to better yourself and trying to just accomplish different things. All right, guys. Another awkward silence.
By the way,
That's my favorite
thing that you said, then I looked in the mirror and then I found out I'm Asian. that could work on Mexicans too, so I'm going to use that too.
Okay.
And I looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh shit, I'm Mexican. Fuck.
Yeah. No.
It works. I'm going to crush with that. I'm going to steal that.
You can totally
The
steal
whole
it, man.
time I'm sitting here and I'm like, this conversation's awesome and it's so true. I gotta be more this way. When can I have another cigarette? I want a cigarette. I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, I already see him. Like, I'm so not present. I have so much to work on. But
I mean, we all get caught in it.
hey, well, you're a human being, and it's actually
Yeah,
part
especially
of
when
your
you have like a
genetic
distraction.
makeup,
Huh?
but I think it's part of
Yeah.
your wiring.
I think you go back and forth. I think maybe, you know, as long as you pull yourself into appreciating what you have and you go through that for a part of your day, and then maybe another part of your day, you're fucking expecting a lot of shit and you're living, maybe you're supposed to do both. It's like hard to do just one.
Yeah.
What are you going to
Yeah, I mean, you got to balance it all out.
Something.
Yeah.
You got to go back and forth with the light to the dark, to the dark, to the light,
Yeah.
go back and forth. I guess. I hope it's that way because that's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, I'm going to like paraphrase this, but it's kind of like Marcus Aurelius, that book Meditations. It's about, you know, he talks about being present, but also, you know, being aware of the future and where you want to go, but doing what you can in the present moment to get there, you know, but you don't want to be like so far in the future that you're like, I'm anxious. What am I doing?
I think
in
you
my life?
touch on those goals a little bit, but you don't obsess on them. I think
Exactly.
you kind of set the course a little bit for the future, but you just got to really, you got to do stuff that you like and you would do whether you had $1 billion, you were broke. You
Yeah.
gotta figure out what you're obsessed with.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast, dude.
Thank you for having me.
I
Man.
really, really appreciate.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Where
Hannah, thank you.
Where can we hear this?
www.artistdecoded.com.
Say that again.
www.artistdecoded.com.
Oh, okay. Artistdecoded.com.
Yeah, or iTunes.
Okay. Cool.
iTunes, Artist Decoded, Stitcher.
Send me a link when it's done.
Definitely, man. I will.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.